Well, hello there. Welcome to my channel. I'm Louise, bird-loving watercolor artist from Sweden. I've been planning to teach some basic sketching techniques here on my channel for a while because I think it's a crucial, fundamental skill for all artists, regardless of medium. And I have done one video in the past where I've shown my practice routine, which includes pencil sketching. It's the one called Daily Practice Routine of a Watercolor Artist, I think, and I'll link it in the description. But I haven't gone into depth on how to improve your sketching technique, how to practice the actual exercises. And when I started to think about how I wanted to teach that subject, a more comprehensive workshop felt like the best format. So today I have just released my next Skillshare class. It's called Pencil Sketching for Beginner Artists. Improve your technique with quick and loose animal drawings. It's around 40 minutes long and it's packed with all of my best tips, tricks, and exercises. The techniques that have helped me go from this to this in terms of my sketching and drawing ability. I demonstrate all of the exercises with animal and bird sketches, so if that's your kind of thing, you'll like this class. But the techniques are also very applicable to other areas like figure drawing or portraits. I'm going to roll the intro from the class along with an excerpt from one of the exercises. It's the one called Simple Shapes. And in it, I explain one of my best tricks for quickly capturing the accurate shape and proportions of a subject without getting lost in lines, contours, and details. Hi guys, I'm Louise. I'm a watercolor artist and illustrator from Sweden. In this class, you'll practice a fundamental ability for every artist, which is quickly capturing what you see in an accurate sketch. Regardless of your medium or subject, pencil sketching is a highly valuable skill that will make you a better artist. You'll learn some effective exercises that train your sketching technique and your hand-eye coordination, from holding the pencil to looking at your subject to capturing gesture and proportions. We're not aiming for realism in this class, but we're going for loose, quick, and expressive sketches that develop your artistic muscles and your visual language, while also allowing you lots of freedom if you want to turn your sketch into a fully developed painting or drawing. My favorite subjects are birds and animals, so I'm going to be demonstrating the exercises with animal sketches. But these concepts are universal and you can apply the same techniques on any subject you like, such as figures or portraits. Your final class project will be a series of quick animal sketches that convey form, gesture, and light and shadow. And I hope that by the end of this class, you will be more confident with your pencil and able to paint or draw anything you love with greater accuracy and efficiency. So let's get started. In this next exercise, we're practicing simplification, simplifying what we see, boiling it down, uncomplicating it, getting the big shapes down first and making sure that those are accurate before we lose ourselves in details. Probably one of the most common ways we end up with an inaccurate sketch is by zooming in too much, too fast, and getting lost in the details, getting overwhelmed by everything. Our first impulse is often to want to recreate everything we see, to aim for realism. And there's nothing wrong with that, but getting too nitty-gritty before we've even established the basic shapes and proportions is gonna lock us in and make it harder to make corrections. You might have experienced that too, realizing after an hour of drawing a portrait that your facial features are too large for the head, but you've already spent a lot of time on those eyes and nose and lips and on the hair, so you can't just easily adjust any of it. You're in too deep and the drawing collapses like a house of cards. We don't want to get overly attached to our sketch. We always want to be able to erase and redo the whole thing. That's why we're staying loose and soft with our lines. And that's why we start by zooming way out and looking at the big shapes. Because if we get those big shapes right, everything else is going to be much easier. So I'm going to quick sketch some birds to demonstrate how to see shapes and how to translate that into a sketch. And I'm using a YouTube video for this. And I'm just watching it, pausing it when I think I've found a pose that I like. And then I sketch that pose and then I move on to the next. So this is what I usually do. And I prefer doing this over using photos because I want to get more variety and control over the poses that I practice with. The first trick is to forget what you're looking at. Forget that it's a bird. In this case, I'm starting with the head, just a simple little circle, and then the body, just an oval shape, egg shape. And as you can see, I'm really messy with my lines. And then I like to place the center line to get more of a 3D perspective of my sketch. And then we have the angle of the legs and the tail and the beak. So it's basically a stick figure, but I can already see whether or not I have the right angles and the right proportions. And then when I feel like I have that, I am proceeding by getting some more angles, finding the smaller angles and the smaller shapes of the bird. You'll notice that I'm using a lot of straight lines when I do this, and that's because it really helps to carve out the form, I think. It makes it feel more three-dimensional, almost like a geometrical figure. And I find that if I start that way, if I start with really straight lines and sort of a blocky geometrical figure, it's much easier to refine it later and to soften it up. And then towards the end, I am allowing myself a few details just to get it looking like a bird again. This is the level of simplicity that I'm doing at this stage. I'm not going any more detailed than this. And then looking for the next pose and pausing and having a go at that one. It helps to squint at the image because, as I said before, we really easily get caught up in what it is we're watching. And it sort of confuses our mind. So by squinting, it's much easier to just identify the simple shapes and the angles. And the next one. Here we have a very clear oval shape for the body. The head, and if you look closely at this still, you can see that the head is actually not very round, it's kind of square. And then finding the angles of the legs. And that's it. And here we have another bird in another angle with a bit more of a beak, more of a profile. I find that going really fast really helps me to be more instinctive with my sketching, to not overthink what it is I'm seeing, but to just look and just capture. It's easier to be honest that way. Here we have a bird with a lot of interesting angles. And here you can see that I'm overlapping my circles. I'm using a circle to just help me place the head in space on top of the body. And then one last bird on this sheet of paper. And that's it. A whole sheet of simple shaped birds. Now it's your turn, and you can use the same video that I've used. It's linked in the class description. Or you can pick any video you like of an animal that's moving, preferably. You just pause the video when you see an interesting pose and you capture the big shapes of the animal and nothing more. Do that 3 times, 3 simple little quick sketches. And I'll see you in the next chapter when you're ready. Hi again. Hope you found the exercise helpful. If you're interested in the rest of the class, I've put a link to it in the description. If you're already a Skillshare member, you can access it right away. And if you're not, you can sign up for a 1-month free trial for Skillshare. That's going to give you plenty of time to finish my class and a bunch of other ones as well. If you want me to make more videos about sketching and drawing, let me know by hitting the like button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video.